The garage door slammed shut like a coffin lid, sealing Adam inside the musty tomb of oil stains and forgotten tools. His father's voice echoing one last time, "You're no son of mine anymore." Rain hammered the tin roof above, drowning out his sobs. But nothing could wash away the metallic taste of blood from the split lip his brother Alex had accidentally given him during the scuffle, a desperate grab to pull him back from the edge of confession. In that instant, as lightning cracked the sky over their quiet Ohio suburb, Adam realized the truth he'd buried for years wasn't just his secret. It was the fracture line that would either shatter their family or forge it anew. Adam pressed his back against the cold concrete wall, the chill seeping through his thin t-shirt like regret. At 18, he and Alex were mirror images, same lean build from endless pickup basketball games in the driveway. Same sharp jawlines inherited from their old man. Same unruly waves of chestnut hair that their mom used to trim with kitchen scissors on lazy Sundays. But mirrors lied. Where Alex chased girls at house parties and dreamed of enlisting in the Marines like Dad, Adam's heart raced for stolen glances at the quarterback in gym class, for the way Jake's laugh lit up the locker room like forbidden fire. It had started innocently enough, a brush of shoulders in the hallway, a shared cigarette behind the bleachers after prom. Jake, with his easy grin and calloused hands from fixing cars at his uncle's shop, had become Adam's quiet rebellion. Until last night, when Dad walked in on them in the basement, tangled in a kiss that tasted like freedom and fear. "You think you can bring that filth into my house?" Dad had roared, his face purple with the kind of rage that came from too many beers and unspoken wounds from his own Vietnam days. Mom had stood frozen in the doorway, her apron twisted in her fists, whispering prayers under her breath as if Adam were possessed. Alex, ever the golden boy, had tried to intervene, shoving Adam toward the stairs with a hiss. "Just go. Ma'am, fix this later." But the shove turned into a punch when Dad lunged. And suddenly fists were flying, accusations slicing deeper than any bruise. "Get him out. Lock him in the garage like the junk he is," Dad bellowed. And just like that, Adam was exiled, his clothes shoved into a trash bag, his phone smashed under a boot heel. The door bolted from the outside. Hours blurred into a numb haze. Adam scavenged a threadbare sleeping bag from a shelf piled with holiday decorations, curling up amid the ghosts of family road trips, the old tent from their Yellowstone camping fiasco, the bike he'd crashed into at 12, splintering his arm and earning Alex's first taste of big brother protectiveness. Twins, they called it, but Adam had always felt like the echo, the one who laughed at Alex's jokes a beat too late, who tagged along to football games pretending to cheer for the team instead of the players. Now, alone in the dark, he traced the faint scar on his knuckle from that bike wreck, wondering if Alex regretted the punch, or if he'd joined Dad in pretending Adam never existed. Dawn crept in through the grimy window, painting the garage in watery gray. Adam's stomach growled, a reminder that exile didn't come with room service. He rummaged through a toolbox for anything edible, half a candy bar from last Halloween, stale as cardboard. As he chewed, footsteps crunched on the gravel outside. His heart leaped. Alex. But the voice that called softly through the door was Mom's, laced with the tremor of someone who'd cried all night. "Adam. Honey. It's me. Your father. He's at work. I brought you some food." He unbolted the side door Dad had overlooked that one in his fury, and there she stood, plastic grocery bag in hand, eyes red-rimmed behind her cat-eye glasses. She thrust the bag at him. "Sandwiches. An apple. A thermos of coffee. Don't tell him I came," she murmured, glancing over her shoulder at the house where lights flickered on in the kitchen. Adam wanted to hug her, to beg her to make it stop, but the words stuck like gravel. Instead, he nodded, whispering, "Why? Mom, why does it have to be like this?" Her face crumpled. And for a moment, she looked every one of her 45 years lines etched from years of nursing shifts and pretending Dad's temper was just stress. Your grandfather. He lost a brother to that life. Back in the 50s. Called it a sin that broke their mama's heart. Your dad. He swore he'd never let it touch us. She reached out, brushing his hair back like when he was little. But you're still my boy. Adam. Alex. He's torn up inside. Yelling at your father this morning. First time ever. Adam's chest tightened. Alex. Defending him. The golden twin. With his Letterman jacket and easy charm. Risking Dad's wrath. It was a flicker of hope in the gloom. But as Mom slipped away, the door clicking shut behind her, reality crashed back. School started in 2 days. How was he supposed to explain the bruises? Or the rumors Jake might spread to save face? He sank to the floor, head in hands, the coffee turning bitter on his tongue. By midday, the garage baked under a relentless sun, turning it into a sweatbox. Adam stripped off his shirt, using it to fan himself, when a shadow fell across the window. Not Mom this time, Alex. His twin hesitated, then pushed the door open, carrying a 6-pack of sodas and a guilty slump to his shoulders. Hey, he said, voice rough like he'd smoked a pack overnight. He cracked open a can, handing it over without meeting Adam's eyes. Brought these from the fridge. Dad's gone till late. Adam took the soda. The cold fizz a small mercy. They sat on an old workbench, legs dangling like when they were kids plotting forts from couch cushions. Silence stretched, thick with unsaid words, until Alex finally blurted, "That guy, Jake. You really?" The question hung, and Adam felt heat rise not just from the humidity, but shame and defiance warring inside. Yeah, I do. It's not a phase. Alex. It's me. He braced for the recoil, the brotherly punch of disgust. But Alex just nodded slowly, staring at his sneakers. I get it. Sorta. Remember that time in 8th grade, when I kissed Sarah behind the gym and felt nothing? Thought I was broken. He took a swig, Adam's heart pounding. But this? Dad's losing it. He burned your yearbooks this morning. Said you're dead to him. The words landed like a gut punch. Adam's yearbooks pages filled with scrawled notes from friends. Photos of him and Alex hoisting trophies. Jake's goofy grin in the background. Gone. In a bonfire of bigotry. Tears stung. Hot and unbidden. What about you? You gonna burn me too? Alex's head snapped up. Eyes fierce. Screw that. You're my brother. Idiot. Twin. Remember the blood pact. 8th birthday. Cutting our palms with Dad's pocket knife. Swearing we'd always have each other's backs. He grabbed Adam's hand, thumb pressing the old scar. That hasn't changed. For the first time since the garage door slammed, Adam breathed easy. They talked, then really talked. Alex confessed his own fears, college apps looming. The pressure to be the perfect son. The girl from church who made his stomach flip, but his heart stay flat. Adam shared fragments of Jake, the way his touch felt like coming home. The terror of losing it all. As the sun dipped low, painting the garage in golden hues, Alex promised to smuggle food, clothes, maybe even a burner phone. We'll figure this out. Get you out of here. But promises, Adam knew, were fragile as garage glass. That night, as thunder rumbled again, a new sound pierced the storm, tires screeching on wet pavement, followed by a sickening crunch of metal. Alex's truck dad had given it to him for his 16th, tricked out with lift kits and mud tires. Adam bolted upright, heart in throat. The crash was close too close. He pounded on the door, yelling for Mom, but only silence answered. Grabbing a tire iron for leverage, He pried at the bolt until it gave, spilling into the rain-slicked driveway. There, wrapped around the oak tree at the cul-de-sac's end, was the truck headlights shattered, put accordion-like paper, and slumped over the wheel, blood streaking the dashboard. Was Alex. Alex. No. God. No. Adam screamed, yanking the door open, rain mixing with the metallic reek of blood. His twin's face was pale, a gash across his forehead pulsing crimson, breath shallow and ragged. Adam's hands shook as he fumbled for a pulse weak. Freddy. Hang on. Bro, I am here. Blood-packed. Remember? He tore off his shirt, pressing it to the wound. But blood soaked through like accusation. Sirens wailed in the distance, neighbors' lights flicking on. But Adam barely registered. All he saw was Alex's eyes fluttering open, locking on his with a ghost of a smile. Knew you'd come, he whispered, before going limp. Paramedics swarmed, prying Adam away as they loaded Alex onto a stretcher, oxygen mask fogging with his labored breaths. Dad arrived then, barreling down the street in his work truck, face ashen. What the hell happened? He barked at the EMTs, then spotted Adam shirtless, bloodied, wild-eyed. Recognition dawned, fury twisting his features. Were you fighting again? This your fault? Adam staggered back, the tire iron clattering from his numb fingers. I was locked in the garage. Dad. He must have. After we talked. But the words drowned in the chaos, stretchers rolling, Mom sobbing on the lawn. Dad turned away, climbing into the ambulance with Alex, the doors slamming shut like another exile. At the hospital, fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets, casting harsh shadows on the ER waiting room's vinyl chairs. Adam sat alone, wrapped in a scratchy blanket a nurse had thrust at him, his skin sticky with drying blood that wasn't his. Mom paced nearby, murmuring into her phone for Aunt Linda to come stay with her. Dad. Nowhere in sight, holed up with the doctors. No doubt demanding answers that pinned blame on anyone but fate's cruel twist. A social worker found him eventually, clipboard in hand, eyes soft with practiced sympathy. Adam. Your brother's in surgery, internal bleeding from the crash. They need to know your blood type. You're twins. Right. Identical. Adam nodded numbly, rolling up his sleeve for the draw. Oh, negative. The universal donor. The irony wasn't lost. As the needle bit in, pulling life from his veins, he pictured Alex's scar, their pact renewed in crimson. But when the tech returned, face grim, the hook twisted deeper. It's a match. But he's lost so much. They need more than one pint. And your father's refusing to let you donate. Says it's against his wishes. Rage boiled up, hot as the garage's summer swelter. Wishes. He's dying. I'm his brother, his twin. Adam surged to his feet, blanket pooling at his ankles, ignoring the nurse's protests as he stormed the hall. Voices filtered from behind swinging doors, Dad's. Gravelly and unyielding. That boy's not stepping foot near my son. Not after what he is. Mom caught up, gripping his arm. Adam. Please. Your father's scared, terrified of losing Alex. It's not about you. But it was always had been, since the basement kiss shattered their fragile peace. Adam wrenched free, slamming through the doors into the pre-op suite. There was Dad, broad shoulders hunched by the window, staring at the storm-lashed parking lot. Alex lay on the gurney beyond the glass, tubes snaking into his arms, monitors beeping a frantic rhythm. Dad. Adam choked, voice breaking. Let me help him. Please. It's my blood, he needs it. The man turned, eyes bloodshot, fists clenched. You did this. You're deviants. drove him out into that rain, arguing over your mess. Lies, Adam shouted, the word echoing off sterile walls. You locked me away like trash. Alex came to Marist everything to say he had my back. And now you're gonna let him die because you hate who I love. Dad's face crumpled, the fight draining like air from a punctured tire. He glanced at the glass, at Alex's pale form, then back at Adam, seeing, perhaps for the first time, the mirror of his own youth in those blue eyes. I can't lose him too. The admission hung, raw and ragged. You won't. Adam pressed, stepping closer, the scent of antiseptic mingling with his desperation. Take my blood. Let me prove I'm still your son. Silence stretched, broken only by the monitor's insistent pulse. Then, with a nod like surrender, Dad waved the doctor over. Do it. Use the kid's blood. As they prepped him in the adjacent room, needle poised again, Adam locked eyes with Alex through the glass, unconscious. But fighting. This was more than donation. It was absolution. A transfusion of forgiveness across the chasm of secrets. The machine word, pulling from Adam's arm, pushing life back into his twin. Hours later, as dawn broke over the hospital's east wing, the surgeon emerged. He's stable. The brother's blood saved him, perfect match. Just in time. Dad waited in the hall, looking smaller somehow, lines deeper around his eyes. He cleared his throat, avoiding Adam's gaze. Thanks, son. We need to talk. About everything. It wasn't an apology, not yet, but it was a crack in the wall, wide enough for light. Mom enveloped Adam in a hug, whispering, my brave boys. And as Alex stirred in recovery, murmuring Adam's name, the twins' bond pulsed stronger than ever, blood not just shared, but given freely, rewriting their story from exile to embrace. But healing wasn't linear, and the road ahead twisted like Ohio backroads after a storm. Discharged after 2 days, Alex came home to a house heavy with unspoken truces. The garage door stayed unbolted, a silent invitation for Adam to reclaim his room. But he lingered in the shadows, testing the waters. Jake had texted from a number Alex smuggled on a scrap of paper, heard about the crash. Miss you. We talk. But Adam hesitated. Scars too fresh for another leap. Weeks blurred into a fragile normalcy. School resumed. Whispers trailing Adam like smoke. Heard his brother's gay wait. No. The twin who wrecked. Jake avoided him in the halls. Shame or fear winning out, leaving Adam's heart a hollow echo. Alex, bandaged but unbroken, threw himself into physical therapy, determined to walk without a limp. Gotta get back on the field. He'd joke, but his eyes held shadows, guilt for the punch, gratitude for the blood, confusion over the chasm Dad's rage had carved. One crisp October evening, as leaves skittered across the lawn like fleeing secrets, Dad called them to the living room. The space felt foreign, no TV blaring football, just the three of them on the sagging couch. Mom hovering with chamomile tea like a peace offering. Dad shifted, calloused hands twisting a handkerchief Mom's, embroidered with forget-me-nots. Boys, he started, voice gruff as gravel. That night, I was wrong, scared spitless, seeing my boy hurt, thinking it was my fault for not raising you right. Adam tensed, Alex's hand finding his under the Afghan twin telepathy, steadying the storm. Dad pressed on, eyes flicking to the family photo on the mantle, all four of them at the Grand Canyon, windswept and grinning. Your granddad. He never forgave his brother. AIDS took him in '89, and Pop blamed the lifestyle. Swore it'd end with him. A pause, heavy as the humid air before thunder. But holding Alex's hand in that hospital, watching your blood drip into him. Adam, It hit me. Blood's thicker than hate. You're both mine, gay or straight. Marines or not. I ain't perfect, but I'm trying. The words landed soft. Revolutionary. Alex squeezed Adam's hand harder, whispering, "Told you." Packed holds. Mom teared up, pulling Dad into a rare embrace. And for the first time, the house breathed easy. No bolted doors. No exiles. Emboldened, Adam met Jake at the old bleachers after practice. The field mud-slick under floodlights. "I get it if you're out," Adam said, heart hammering. Jake, helmet dangling from one hand, stepped close enough for that familiar spark. "Not out. Just scared. But seeing you save Alex. That's the guy I fell for, brave as hell." Their kiss, tentative then fierce, tasted of second chances, rain fresh and real. As winter blanketed Ohio in snow, the twins plotted futures unbound by garages or grudges. Alex aced his PT, eyeing college scouts. Adam, with Dad's reluctant blessing, joined the school's GSA, turning whispers into waves of acceptance. One night, snow falling like confetti, they stood in the driveway, breaths fogging the air. To blood pacts and comebacks, Alex toasted with hot cocoa mugs. Adam clinked his, grinning, into garages that couldn't hold us. In the end, it wasn't perfection, just family, flawed and fierce, stitched back with threads of crimson forgiveness. And in that mending, Adam found not just survival, but a love worth every scar. The first snow of the season had barely melted when the real tests began, not from Dad's lingering silences, but from the world's sharper edges. Adam's coming out rippled through Warren High like a stone in a still pond, stirring undercurrents he'd only glimpsed before. In the cafeteria, jocks who'd high-fived him for killer free throws now muttered "fag" under their breath, their laughter a barbed wire fence. Teachers averted eyes during roll call, as if his name might contaminate the air. Even Jake, bold and private, flinched when a teammate catcalled them in the parking lot. "Hey, Ramirez." Trading jerseys for jockstraps now. It stung, but Adam wore it like armor, channeling the pain into late-night journals scrawled by flashlight in his reclaimed room. Alex became his shield, towering in the halls with a glare that dared anyone to cross. "Touch him. You touch me," he'd growl, the crash's limp adding a vulnerability that made his protectiveness fiercer. At home, Dad's trying manifested in small cracks, a gruff, "Proud of you for speaking up at that assembly," after Adam's GSA talk on invisibility, or leaving a pamphlet on the kitchen table, "Understanding Your Gay Son, a Father's Guide," dog-eared and underlined. Mom, ever the quiet revolutionary, baked rainbow cookies for Pride Month, subtle, but a statement, sweet as acceptance. She'd wink, sliding the plate across the formica. Yet beneath the thawing, tension simmered. Dad's old army buddies dropped by for poker nights, their jokes turning toxic after the third round. "Heard your boy's batting for the other team, hope he don't recruit the neighbor kids." Dad's laugh died quick, replaced by a slammed door and a midnight pacing Adam overheard from his bed. Spring brought renewal, or so the calendars promised. Alex's college letter arrived, full ride to Ohio State. ROTC slot waiting. Celebration dinner at the diner on Main, the one with vinyl booths scarred from decades of small-town secrets. Plates of greasy burgers and fries steamed between them. Laughter bubbling as Alex recounted his acceptance speech. "Coach said I play like a warrior, guess saving my ass qualified me." But as the cherry pie arrived, Jake slid into the booth uninvited, his uncle's shop apron still dusted with grease. "Room for one more?" Jake's grin was tentative, eyes locking on Adam's with that electric pull. Dad stiffened, fork pausing midair. But Mom's warm, of course. Deer smoothed the edges. Conversation flowed awkward at first. Jake's tales of carburetors and burnout races clashing with Dad's war stories, but Alex bridged it, challenging Jake to arm wrestle across the table. Laughter erupted when Jake pinned him, Adam's cheers drowning the knot in his throat. Later, walking home under street lamps, buzzing like fireflies, Jake pulled Adam into the alley by the pharmacy. Your family's intense, but seeing you with them makes me want in. His kiss was urgent, hands framing Adam's face. But doubt lingered in the aftertaste. What if it's too much? For theme or us? Adam pulled back, searching those hazel eyes. Then we fight for it. Like Alex fought for me. It was a vow, sealed with intertwined fingers as they emerged into the neon glow. Summer scorched in, turning the garage from prison to sanctuary. Dad, in a bid for redemption, cleared space for a workbench, tools laid out like peace offerings. Figured you might tinker with Jake's rides. He grunted, avoiding sentiment. Adam dove in, oil under his nails a badge of belonging. Alex, home from orientation, joined them. The three generations bent over a sputtering engine, banter flowing freer than ever. But fate, that capricious mechanic, had one more wrench to throw. Late July, a call shattered the idyll. Grandpa Harlan, Dad's father, stroke in Florida, airlift critical. The family piled into the minivan for the drive south, 800 miles of humid highways and heavy silences. Grandpa, bedridden in a hospice smelling of bleach and regret, clutched Dad's hand with trembling fingers. Heard about the boy, he rasped, eyes flicking to Adam in the doorway. Queer? Like my brother Eddie. The room froze. Dad tensed, but Grandpa waved him off. Don't you dare repeat my mistakes. Son, Eddie died alone 'cause I turned my back. AIDS. They called it, but it was hate that killed him. Tears carved tracks down weathered cheeks. Tell your boy. I'm sorry for the blood I spilled with silence. Adam stepped forward, throat tight. It's okay, sir. We're fixing things. Grandpa's grip transferred to him, frail but fierce. Good lad. Love's the only war worth fighting. The drive home was cathartic. Windows down, wind whipping confessions. Dad admitted his fears losing Adam to a world that chewed up different kids. Thought locking you away kept you safe. Stupid old man. Alex shared his own cracks, anxiety gnawing since the crash. Therapy notes hidden in his glove box. You're the brave one. Adam pulled me through. Fall leaves turned gold as Adam and Jake navigated their rhythm dates at the drive-in. Hands laced under shared blankets. Arguments over Jake's closet fears. Make-up sex in the bed of his truck. Pride swelled when Jake came out to his uncle. The shop's welcome sign getting a rainbow decal overnight. Family's what you build, Jake said, inking a tiny heart on Adam's wrist with Sharpie temporary, but eternal in intent. Thanksgiving brought full circle, extended kin around the table. Toasts to Harlan's passing with stories of Eddie laughs over his flamboyant Broadway dreams. Tears for unlived loves. Dad raised his glass last, to twins, to blood, to coming home. Adam met Alex's eyes across the turkey carcass, the pact alive in their nod. Winter's grip loosened into prom season. Adam in a slim tux that hugged his frame. Jake's boutonniere pinned with steady hands. They danced under disco balls. The gym alive with possibility no stairs. Just sway. Afterward, on the rooftop of the old mill, city lights sprawling like accepted stars. Jake dropped to one knee, not ring. But promise. College next year, different states. Maybe. But this. He held up a keychain, twin charms. Engraved blood and beyond. We're forever. Adam pulled him up. Kiss salt sweet with happy tears. Pact sealed. Graduation dawned bright. Caps tossed like confetti over futures unfolding. Alex to OSU. Adam to community college with eyes on social work, turning garages into gardens of growth. Dad hugged them fierce on the field, whispering to Adam, "Saved us all, son." In the quiet after, as fireflies danced in the backyard, Adam reflected, exile had forged them. Blood had bound them. Love had liberated. The twin Sinaway wasn't broken was the spark that reignited a family's heart. Yet even as diplomas yellowed in frames, life's undercurrents pulled. Freshman year at Ohio State, Alex thrived in khakis and cadence calls. But letters home hinted at cracks, hazing whispers. A roommate slurs after spotting his GSA sticker. "It's fine," he'd write. But Adam heard the echo of garage bolts in the ink. Adam, commuting to classes in Akron, dove into advocacy posters plastered dorms, panels on twin bonds and queer resilience. Jake, at a trade school in Cleveland, welded futures with sparks that mirrored their passion. Weekends blurred into stolen hours, bonfires where stories spilled like sparks. Jake's head on Adam's lap under star-pricked skies. Thanksgiving reunion crackled with undercurrents. Dad, softer around the edges from AA meetings Mom dragged him to, grilled Alex on those campus fruits. Half joke, half probe. Alex deflected with charm. But later, in the garage turned man cave, he confessed to Adam, one of the upperclassmen. "He cornered me after PT. Said if I don't man up about you, I'll wash out." His fist clenched around a wrench, knuckles white. Adam's blood ran cold echoes of basements and bruises. "You tell them about the pact. About how my fairy blood pulled you from the wreck." Alex laughed, bitter sharp. But the hug they shared grounded him twins against the tide. Christmas brought Jake home, his family a whirlwind of Mexican tamales and machismo tales. Over eggnog, Jake's dad clapped Adam's shoulder. "Heard you saved your brother's hide. Real hero shit." The acceptance warmed. But Jake's mom pulled him aside later. "Mijo, the church. They say it's sin. But seeing you smile, maybe God's got room for rainbows." New Year's Eve. Snow blanketing the suburbs. The four of them, Adam, Jake, Alex, and a girl from Alex's lit class named Riley, with freckles and a laugh like bells, gathered in the garage for a makeshift party. String lights twinkled from rafters, a space heater warding off frost. Toasts rang, to packs unbroken, to loves uncloseted. As midnight chimed, Jake kissed Adam slow and sure. Alex whooping with Riley on his arm, first spark for the golden twin. Tentative, but true. But spring semester hurled curveballs. Alex's emails grew sparse, laced with ROTC pressure, drills that left bruises hidden under uniforms. A sergeant's joke about "don't ask, don't tell" relics. "It's wearing me," he admitted during a midnight call, voice tinny over dorm lines. Adam drove up unannounced, bursting into Alex's room with contraband tacos and a glare for the poster of drill instructors glaring down. They talked till dawn, Alex unraveling the knot of identity, straight but scarred by association. Fierce ally in a world that equated queerness with weakness. "You think I could have enlisted without your blood in me? Made me stronger, not softer." Adam shared his own battles, a professor's microaggressions in psych class, Jake's jealousy flaring over a flirty classmate. We're twins in this mess, doubly fucked, doubly fierce. Summer jobs bonded them anew. Alex lifeguarding at the community pool, Adam volunteering at a youth center for LGBTQ plus runaways, irony thick as sunscreen. Jake apprenticed at a custom shop, sketching hot rods with rainbow accents. One sweltering afternoon, a kid no older than 15 wandered into the center, backpack slung low, eyes haunted. "Dad kicked me out," said garage or gutter. Adam's heart clenched, flashing to oil stains and thunder. He sat with Tyler, Sharing stories, not preaching. Just proving survival. Word spread. Donations poured in. The center's garage transformed into a makerspace, tools for building, not breaking. Dad drove down for the ribbon cutting. Tools in tow. His speech halting but heartfelt. Once locked my boy away in one. Now, it's where dreams rev up. Applause thundered. Alex's arm around Adam's shoulders. Jake's hand in his back pocket. Family expanded. Fall winds carried change. Alex met Riley's gaze across lecture halls. Her poetry matching his prose. Jake proposed a road trip cross-country, chasing horizons. But October's chill brought storm clouds. A call from campus. Alex collapsed during a run-iron low. Echoes of the crash. Adam raced the 3 hours, finding his twin pale in the infirmary for dripping saline. Doctors say stress pushing too hard to prove something. Alex's voice was weak, but his grip iron. Riley's great, but seeing you and Jake makes me want that solidity. Adam squeezed back. You've got it, bro. Blood don't lie. Recovery was swift, but revelation deeper. Over cafeteria slop. Alex admitted, I'm bi? Maybe. Kissed a guy at a party once, felt right. Like your stories. Adam's grin split wide. Welcome to the rainbow. Twin. Pack just got colorful. Thanksgiving overflowed, Riley fitting seamless. Her hand in Alex's like puzzle pieces. Jake's family joined. Fusion feast of turkey and enchiladas. Dad. Toasting. Choked up to blood that saves. And loves that heal. Winter break sparked the road trip, minivan loaded. Jake shotgun. Alex and Riley in back with maps and mixtapes. They chased Route 66 ghosts, diners with neon promises, motels with heart-shaped tubs. In the Grand Canyon. Echoes of childhood photos. Adam and Jake hiked rim to river, vowing eternities under vast skies. Alex proposed to Riley at sunset. Rings simple as their pact, blood and beyond. She echoed. Tears diamond bright. Spring bloomed, engagements and essays. Summer weddings loomed. Adam's thesis on familial redemption drew offers, grad school calling. Jake's shop thrived. Custom jobs for queer couples, trucks with pride flames. On the eve of Alex and Riley's nuptials. Backyard strung with lights. The twins slipped to the garage, now a shrine of memories. Workbench scarred with initials. From exile to this. Alex marveled. Clinking beers. You saved me twice, wreck and wrath. Adam shrugged. Modest. Twins. Remember. Your blood's mine. Vows exchanged under oaks. Dances wild with joy. The family wove tighter threads of crimson. Rainbows arcing over scars. Years spun like tires on open road. Alex and Riley's twins arrived, boys with Alex's jaw. Adam's eyes christened with middle names honoring Eddie. Dad retired, volunteering at the center. His stories turning recruits into allies. Mom's garden flourished. Rainbow flags fluttering beside roses. Adam and Jake built a life in Cleveland, house with a garage studio. Where Adam wrote. Jake welded art. Adoptions followed 2 girls. Fierce and funny. Calling them Papa and Dad. At 50. Adam traced scars, faded but felt. Alex across the table at their annual packed dinner. Saved your life with blood. Adam teased. Now saving the world's with words. Alex laughed. Deep and true. And you. Still the twin who came out swinging. In the garage of memory. Doors swung wide, exile ended. Love eternal. Blood the unbreakable bond. The garage, once a prison of oil and isolation, had evolved into something secreto workshop where destinies were forged. Not fractured. By the time Adam's girls, Mia and Luna, toddled through its doors on chubby legs, it hummed with life. Jake's welding torch hissing sparks into sculptures of intertwined hands. Alex's visits bringing blueprints for tiny bikes. Dad's gravel voice narrating tool lore like bedtime tales. This here ratchet saved my ass and nom. But your Uncle Adam, he saved all of us with heart. Mia, with her wild curls and Jake's hazel mischief, would climb onto the workbench, demanding stories. Tell the garage one again. Papa. Adam would oblige. Voice dipping low for drama, the thunderous slam. The blood-packed sting. The crash that tested fate. Luna. Quieter. With Adam's blue intensity. Listen wide-eyed. Fingers tracing the etched initials A and A. Forever linked. Jake. Ever the steady flame. Would ruffle their hair. And don't forget the hero who kissed a boy and changed everything. His own coming-out scars had healed into pride. The shop now sponsored apprentices from the center, turning wrenches into wings for kids like Tyler, who'd aged out thriving as a mechanic with a boyfriend and a custom lowrider. Alex's family grew roots deep in Columbus. RDC commissions traded for teaching history at the high school. Riley's novels climbing bestseller lists with queer heroes drawn from life. Their boys, Ethan and Noah, idolized their uncles. Ethan's soccer cleats echoing Alex's old glory. Noah's sketchpad capturing garage scenes in vivid strokes. Grandkids bridged generations. Dad, grayer but grinning, chased them with tickle attacks. Mom's cookies the bribe of choice. Yet shadows lingered, as they do in every light. Dad's first heart scare hit like the crash Redix clutching his chest at a center fundraiser. Adam's girls screaming as sirens wailed. In the ER, monitors beeping familiar dirges. Dad gripped Adam's hand. Karma. Now you save me. The quadruple bypass was textbook. But the scare cracked him open. Therapy sessions where he unpacked Vietnam ghosts. Letters to Eddie's memory burned in the backyard fire pit. Mom followed suit. Her breast cancer diagnosis a quiet thunder. Chemo chairs became confessional booths. She whispered to Adam. Regret locking that door. Every day? But you. My light in the storm. Remission rang like wedding bells. Family swelling around her. Riley's book tour paused. Jake's shop closing for grandma shifts. Weddings wove the tapestry richer. Ethan's to his college sweetheart. A garden affair with garage toasts. Mia's engagement under canyon rims. Jake tearing up as she vowed. Like you and Papa Blood and Fire. Luna came out at 16. Her girlfriend's hand steady in hers. The garage hosted their first dance. String lights, twinkling approval. Alex's midlife pivot leaving teaching for politics. Running for state senate on a quality platform stirred old tempests. Opponents dug dirt, the twin who wrecked his queer brother's life. Smears flew in mailers. But Alex countered with truth. Podiums echoing. My brother didn't wreck Mayhay rebuilt us. Blood saved my body. Love saved my soul. Victory margins wide. His office walls lined with photos. The crash truck restored as a campaign prop. Eddie's faded portrait beside it. Adam's books followed memoirs blending garage grit with human grace. Oprah nods and TED Talks where he'd quip. Exile's just a plot twist. Jake's art installations toured, twisted metal hearts. Captions reading, forged in fire. Bound in blood. 60th birthday bash filled the backyard. Grandkids roasting marshmallows. Riley reciting original poems. Dad slow dancing with Mom to Sinatra. As fireworks popped overhead, Adam pulled Alex aside. Beers clinking. From that night to this. Worth every drop. Alex nodded. Eyes misty. Pact eternal. Bro. Saved each other. Every damn day. In the garage's glow. Doors flung open to stars. The twins' legacy pulsed. Not just survival, but a symphony of scars turned symphonies. Blood the bass line of unbreakable love. decades layered like varnish on old wood. The garage standing sentinel through tempests and triumphs. By 70, Adam's hair silvered like frost on Ohio eaves. Jake's hands gnarled, but sure on the torch, their partnership a masterwork. Exhibited in museums from MoMA to the local VFW hall. Art of the outcast. Critics called it. But to them, it was simply home, wells of witness. Sculptures of survival. The girls flourish, Mia, a lawyer dismantling discrimination suits. Luna directing indie films with queer lenses sharp as Jake's cutters. Grandbabies multiplied, Mia's son tinkering with circuits. Luna's daughter narrating garage epics on her tablet. Alex and Riley's line branch to Ethan's tech startup coding apps for allyship. Noah's gallery showcasing Eddie's salvaged letters. Framed as anthems. Dad passed gently at 86. Prostate stubborn as his pride. His service packed the center. Eulogies praising the man who'd bolted a door only to build bridges. From garage to grace. The rabbi intoned. Mom nodding through tears. Her own sunset nearing, but serene. Alex's Senate tenure peaked in landmark Bill's conversion therapy bans. Blood donor reforms honoring Adam's gift. Retirement brought memoirs co-authored with Riley, Twin Flames. Bestseller dissecting the crash, not as curse, but catalyst. We didn't choose the wreck, Alex wrote, but we chose the rebuild. Mom's farewell was a garden party. Wildflowers nodding as she slipped away in sleep. Tell your dad hi, she murmured to Adam last. Hand feather light. The scattering under the oak crash site turned memorial drew kin from coasts. Stories swirling like petals. 80 bloomed for the twins, aches in joints echoing old scars. But spirits unbowed. A cruise for their joint birthday, Caribbean blues mirroring boyhood eyes saw confessions deepen. Overrun punches. Alex admitted. That punch. Not accident. Jealous. Maybe you brave enough to love open. Adam waved it off. Saved by blood. Redeemed by time. Jake and Riley toasted from adjacent loungers. Their own octogenarian glow undemed partners in every sense. White hair's crowning crowns of thorns turned laurels. Back home, the garage hosted the ultimate pact renewal, grandkids etching new initials beside ANA. Lasers humming promises into steel. As sunset gildered tools, Adam stood with Alex. Arms linked. From sin away to stayed forever. Blood's the story, Alex replied. Love's the sequel. In Twilight's embrace, the twin who once huddled in shadows now shone legacy, not locked doors, but open hearts. A life's worth of crimson grace. The echoes of youth faded into wisdom's hum, but the garage remained the heart's ancora reliquary of rust and redemption where every dent told triumph. Nearing 90, Adam's steps slowed, cane tapping rhythms of resilience. Jake beside him in a wheelchair engineered from his own shop scraps, custom comfort. He'd quip, eyes twinkling mischief. Their daughters, silver-threaded pillars. Orchestrated care with fierce love. Mia's briefs, now arguing elder rights. Luna's docs premiering at Sundance. Garage Ghosts, a docudrama blending crash footage with interviews. Oscar whispers circling. Grandkids evolved into greats. Mia's boy. A coder revolutionizing VR therapy for exiles. Luna's girl. Activism incarnate. Protesting with placards etched, blood-packed. Alex and Riley mirrored the March Senate legacy yielding to lectures. Their twins penning theses on familial queerness. Ethan's algorithms detected hate speech in schools. Noah's exhibits toured globally. Eddie's letters digitized for archives. A final storm brewed that autumn hurricane whispers from the Gulf lashing Ohio with unseasonal fury. Power flickered. The garage a beacon with generator glow. Family gathered. Stories storming louder than wind. The basement kiss. The locked door. The screech of tires. The drip of saving blood. As thunder rolled, Adam gathered them twins foremost. Jake's hand in his. Riley's poetry book open like scripture. We started in exile. He began, voice steady as the workbench. A boy sent away for loving true. But blood called him back, brother's life. Family's soul. Alex leaned in, breath sinking. And in giving, we got grace. No more garages of shame, only workshops of wonder. Lightning cracked, illuminating scars long healed. And in that flash, the pact pulsed eternal, from gay garage ghost to lifeblood legend. A twin's journey not of loss, but luminous love. The end came soft as dawn through grimy pains. Adam first, slipping in sleep beside Jake. Heart giving out mid-dream of canyon winds. Jake followed weeks later, welding one last heart-intertwined initials. Left on the bench with a note for the next generation. Forge on. Funerals fused into celebration centers overflowing. Roads closed for processions of pride flags and pickup trucks. Eulogies wove twins' tales. Alex, voice breaking. He saved me with blood. I saved him with belief. Legacy lived in every weld, every word, every welcome. The garage, deeded to the center, became Adam's haven, shelter for runaways. Studio for stories. Plaques gleamed, from exile to embrace. Years later, a great-granddaughter blue-eyed firebrand tinkered there, etching her own initials. Tell me the story, Grandma, she'd demand. And the circle turned. Blood's whisper unbroken, a twin's gift. Gay and glorious, saving lives across time. In the quiet afterlives, where garages opened to infinities, Adam and Alex reunited, mirrors whole. Pax perpetual. Worth the wreck? Adam asked, grin boyish. Every drop. Alex replied. And they laughed into forever. Blood the bridge. Love the light.